Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I am beyond stoked that you're here because we are in Nagoya, Japan, checking out thrift stores and hunting for retro video games. Here's what's on the agenda for today. We have marked out 9 different thrift stores in the surrounding area, and we're going to make an attempt to hit as many of them as we can before they close. It's currently 10:30 a.m. This Hard Off just opened, and all of the ones in the area as well. They close at 7:30, so let's see how many we can hit before the end of the day. Games that we're hunting for today have to hit 3 different criteria. The first, they have to be Japanese exclusive games, so ones that at the very least were not released in North America, so I would have no other way of getting them. 2, they have to be playable on North American consoles, even if that means using consoles like the Retron, so we're absolutely going to be hunting for consoles like the Super Nintendo. And 3, they have to be somewhat playable for non-Japanese speakers. So I'm looking for games like platformers, puzzlers, and fighters, games that I need to know very little Japanese to play. Okay, I'm actually like freaking out. So we gotta go in here. They just opened, the guys already like waved me in, so let's go check out the store. All right, there are a specific list of consoles that I'm after. I'm gonna list them right here. The reason for the consoles that I'm going after are mainly because of region locking, so consoles that can't play Japanese games like Sega Saturn, for instance, I'd have to buy a whole new console in order to play those games, so they're off my list for today. I did prepare a list of games that are both Japanese exclusive and accessible to non-Japanese English speakers. I'll link all of those PDFs in the description, so if you want to use them for your own game hunting trip, they'll be available to you there. That list includes both images and names of games because a lot of these games don't have names that are in English, so if you can't go off the pictures, you don't know what you're looking for. All right, with that said, let's dig into these games and see if we can't find any that are on our list. Okay, we're gonna start things off in the N64 section. There's a lot of these games that look really cool. I just don't know whether or not they're playable in English, and so that's where that list is coming in really handy. I'm also dodging games like this that already exist in North America, so I don't want to own a secondary copy in Japanese. There are gonna be also a lot of sports games like these baseball games and J-League soccer games that I'm sort of avoiding as well, so it makes a pretty easy list of ones to hunt for. And right off the bat, here is one that I've been hunting for. Yeah, and at 550 yen, I'm absolutely going to be grabbing this one up. Works out to about, a little over $5 Canadian, so happy to throw this in the basket. All right, okay, cool. 550 for this guy. So looks like a racer, not entirely sure about this one. It's not on my list, but I did leave some room for certain ones that I might pick up that might be playable in English, so we're gonna take a chance on this guy at 550. And they've got a bunch of boxed N64 stuff too. Here's that same game that I picked up already. This one's 1320 yen, and we can get an idea of what that game's gonna kind of look like by the box art, which is pretty cool. Looks like it's probably gonna be playable in English, so we're definitely gonna keep the loose copy. Probably not gonna bother with the box copy though. So I am interested in some of these boxed games, especially ones that have like really cool cover art on them, but I don't have a ton of space in my luggage, so we are gonna be erring towards loose games over box stuff, but I'm hoping to find some boxed ones that I'm interested in too. All right, we're headed to hunt into the Super Nintendo section next, and here's what I'm faced with. Every time I find a game that I think might be on my list, I have to dig through my list to figure out if that's actually one that I was looking for or not. And it's a 12-page PDF of Super Nintendo games, but we're gonna find some. And take a look at some of these games. All right, so Bomberman 3, 4, and 5 are on my list, but I guess 1 and 2 were made in North America, so I don't need to look for that one. They do have this really like kind of ritzier section of games that are all in these plastic cases, so these ones are like around $30 Canadian, for example, and I did manage to find a collection of them that I'm interested in. So first up is Flying Hero. This one they're asking $55 for, so this might be the most expensive game that I pick up in this video. Next up is this guy right here. $2,200. I had my list up and I knew what it was called, but I'll put it on screen for you so you know what I'm picking up and whether or not I did all right on price for these. And then last up is this guy. Again, 2,200 yen, so around 20 Canadian. I'll put prices up on screen so you can check those out, see whether I got a good deal or not, and these three for sure are coming home out of the premium section. I'm not going to be coming back to these stores, so when I find games like this that are a little pricier, I don't have the luxury of heading back to the next store, checking and seeing if I can get a better price, and then coming back here if I can't. So when I find games that are on my list to pick up, I have to buy them at the shops that I'm at. Ooh, there might be a few of these that are on my list I'm gonna have to check. This is for sure on my list. There are a ton of Sailor Moon games, and this one I believe is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. I have a couple on my list to grab up for Sailor Moon games, so this one's going to be added to our pile, which is right here. Still digging through Super Nintendo stuff. I don't think I need that one. This is one that's on my list. Okay, awesome, and about $8, a little more than $8 for this guy. I recognize this photo from the list, so I'm going to be grabbing this one up. I'll put it on the screen as always to let you know what the game's called. Okay, we're digging through some of this Super Nintendo stuff that looks like Kirby's Dream Course. So the problem with some of this stuff is on my list does not have photos of boxes, so I do not know what I'm looking at when it comes to these. That looks like something that's on my list, but gosh, I wish there was a way for me to tell. I'm gonna have, maybe that's an oversight. I'm gonna have to suggest that you make sure you put photos of boxes if that's something that you're gonna be looking for when you're game hunting in Japan. Definitely make sure, some of these look like they're cheaper in boxed. Make sure that you write down the boxes so you know what you're looking for when you get out here. Looks like a cool Mahjong game though. On another note, I cannot imagine having to dig through every single console. Just the consoles that I've chosen to look for are so much work. Okay, we're taking a look at Game Boy Advance next. Man, these little boxes are so nice. Just the sheer volume of the stuff that's in here is incredible, and the condition that it's in. It's just like, oh, it's unbelievable, and it's so cool. Okay, cool, we got a hamster Game Boy Color game. Very cool. Okay, Mr. Driller A. This is actually on my list. Although this is kind of in one of their premium plastic shells and at around $25 Canadian. I don't know if I'm gonna hold out or not on this one. I looked it up. It's a really good price. I'm super happy. I'm gonna grab this one. Mario Golf. Man, that is some beautiful artwork. Gosh, that's cool. If I had space for half of these cases, I'd be adding them to my game room. These are some really, really cool games. Ooh, that's cool. A Sakura Card Captor game. I don't know if that's playable for me. In fact, I think I heard about this one. I used to watch this TV show so much as a kid and absolutely loved it. Apparently in Japan it was a girls show, but when they brought it over to North America, they marketed it to like preteen, teen boys, and man, did it ever work. The show was fantastic, but the video game, at least on the Game Boy Color, just seems kind of mediocre. So this one at 33 bucks is probably gonna be a pass for me. All right, this section of Game Boy Advance games are like kind of locked up in the same way, but they've double, tripled them up. Oh, there's a copy of Advance Wars right there. This guy is on our list right here. It looks like some kind of Starfy game. When I made these lists back in Canada, this all made sense to me, but right now I'm just going off lists. So this guy at 1100, yeah, $10, absolutely gonna be grabbing this one up, but I'll probably have to get the guy to help me get it out of the case. These ones are a little easier. There's not so much for Game Boy Advance, but that might be on my list. I'm gonna check that one out. Ah, this one is on my list for sure. Right here for 1100 yen. This is a pretty famous character. This dude. Can't remember what he's called. But for some reason this is on my list of Game Boy Advance games. It's a pretty short list and this guy is on it, so we're going to be asking for that one too. And this was on my list, so...
Game Boy Advance.
結構簡単かも。あっちゃ。こんなところ通らないよ。なるほど。10回転か。
Under $10. I did pretty well for Game Boy Advance. This is awesome. I think I've got 4 in total on my list, so yeah, not bad. All right, this is the premium case. Ooh, that is a sick Switch stand. $55. That thing's actually gorgeous. I have no idea whether that's a good price or not, but that is a really, really sick Switch stand, actually. Love to have that. Got some amiibos down here. Some of the, I guess, probably more common Wii U specialty remotes. I have some of these already. They're not super high on my list, but this one seems like a pretty good price, actually. 2,700 yen for that guy. For the Luigi remote, decent. And then over here we have a boxed and a non-boxed Bowser. Those are pretty cool. Dragon Quest, look at that. 3,300, definitely a better price than the North American copy, but again, can't really play that without knowing English, so gonna have to pass. Oh, and a couple of pocket printers. Too cool. This is actually the first time I've seen these ever, and I've never seen that Pikachu yellow. That is so friggin' cool. And those things are gorgeous, and $110 too. Nice Hori patch with the N64. I do not have one of these yet, and $59 is probably a really good price for that, but I've got other stuff I'm looking for right now. Some of the stuff in this oversized box section is just so cool. I just would never have the space for this in my luggage. This is a really awesome Super Nintendo Hori fighting stick. Like, I didn't even think they made this kind of stuff for the Super Nintendo. Like, just so cool. A golden N64. We already have the golden controller, but this is the Japanese version. This is pretty sick, actually. 13,000 yen. Wow. Really nice, though. And then just the bare bones one. This one, yeah, without any cables or anything, about $60 Canadian. It's not right. That's not a hugely great price. And there it is, boxed too. Look at that. 13,000 yen for the boxed complete N64. I don't know if these came with the top or if this is... Oh, that is the top, just flipped over. Too cool. Yeah, these are really cool. Oh my god, look at that. The One Piece PlayStation 3. I'm not even a One Piece fan, but that is so cool. 140 Canadian, 14,000 yen. Pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Okay, the Game Boy bin is insanity to dig through. I have no idea what I'm looking at. And I'll have to consult my list yet again. They got a One Piece game on the Game Boy. Pretty cool. What else I got here? Oh yeah, this looks like Metabots, but it's called Kabuto? Pretty cool. That's absolutely Metabots. I mean, it has to be. I watched this when I was a kid. Too cool. And there's 2 whole bins of these. This one's even more jam-packed full. I'm probably not going to spend too much of my time looking through this stuff, but yeah, there's definitely a lot here to look at. That's for sure. All right, we finished in the regular section and didn't do too bad actually. Managed to make it through everything in a little over an hour, but we're still not done because it is time to hit.
ハードオフに売りに行こうハードオフに売りに行こうハードオフに売りに行こうハードオフに売りに行こうハードオフが買い取ります新設定で買い取ります売るならやっぱりハードオフハードオフ
The junk section. All right, my first junk section experience. I have no idea whether half of this stuff works, doesn't work. There's another whole section of bins to dig through, so it's gonna take us a little while longer to get through all of this stuff, but we are almost there. Definitely gonna have to dig through all these games. I'll go through the other junk bins first. We've got another entire section of Game Boy games to go through, some box stuff, or maybe just manuals. Pretty cool. And then, oh, what do we have here? Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to leave with a few of these. $16 for a GameCube controller is unheard of. Okay, we'll take a look through those in a second. What we got over here? PlayStation 2 remotes. Tons of cables, more cables than I would ever know what to do with. Power adapter for the N64 for about $8 Canadian. And a really, really rough N64 controller for about 800. Again, these are junk sections, so I have no idea whether this stuff works, whether it's totally destroyed. Oh, a Hudson N64 controller. I don't know if I've seen this before. That's super interesting, actually. Oh my god. And we've found all of the Famicom controllers. These are so cool. For $2 a piece, basically. I may have to grab some of the less yellowed ones and just so I can have them. These do work on Super Nintendos back home, so it would be cool to have a couple of these in the collection. I might have to grab a couple of those for $2 a piece. Too cool. Alright, quick dig through the junk section, but unfortunately none of the stuff that I'm seeing in here is anything that I need, and things are they're in rougher shape. I'm assuming that half the reason why this stuff's in the junk section is because it's like got yellowed backs. From what I understand, a lot of this stuff does still work, but the condition is just a little bit less than what you'd see. But I mean, $1 for Super Bomberman 2 compared to what it was going for over there. I mean, I could deal with the yellowed back, but again, nothing here that I really need. Alright, and that's it. Trip number 1, first heart off. Took me about an hour and a half to get through the entire place and get everything. Spent about 18,000 yen, so what's that, around $180 Canadian, roughly. Put the math right here somewhere and we'll update our tally. So yeah, I'm on my way to the next one, although there's no way we're hitting 7. But if you want to stick around and find out how many we do manage to hit on this trip, you're gonna have to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next video, as I'll have the next location up as soon as possible. Thanks so much for watching. I so appreciate all the likes, comments, subscribes. All that good stuff goes a long way into helping my channel grow. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.